Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Beast! Peekaboo. I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Available when? 6/29/22, the album, Dad AF. The 50th birthday edition. Are you ready? Happy birthday to me, cha-cha-cha. Happy birthday to me, cha-cha-cha. Happy sing it with me. Come on, sing it with me. Happy birthday, dear. Who? Peter. If nobody else will sing it, you better sing it yourself. Happy birthday to me and many more. Beast! How are you guys doing? Yes, today is my 50th birthday. I never thought I would say that. I'm actually pre-filming this video yesterday on Tuesday, and I wanted to put out something specifically just for my birthday, to just do a fun video over here, a Q&A. I asked you guys on Instagram to give me questions. I got more questions than I think I've ever gotten before, so I'm gonna get into that in a second. But before I do, for my birthday, I want to give a very special shout out, round of applause to adamandeve.com for sponsoring this video. You guys know I love working with adamandeve.com. And for my 50th, my special code Peter, I don't know where it'll be, over here. My special code Peter, you get 50% off your first item plus free shipping and handling in the United States and Canada. No, you always get that with my code Peter. But since it's my 50th birthday, I thought, isn't that cool? Like 50th birthday, 50% off. Okay, so anyway, if you've never checked out adamandeve.com, please go check it out. They have so many fun things over there, so many things to improve intimacy with a couple. They've got things for yourself. They've got lingerie, they've got pajamas, they've got books, they've got all kinds of stuff over there, okay? And they also have a 90-day hassle-free return policy, and they also have 24-hour customer service, so that if you have a question about something, billing, or that you didn't get something, or you got something that wasn't what you wanted, or you just want to let them know, hey, I'm really happy with my code Peter, reach out to them 24 hours a day. And also 20% of the proceeds go to the fight and prevention of HIV and AIDS around the world, which I love any kind of business that has a purpose to it. So thank you, adamandeve.com. And it would really, really, really mean a lot to me if you guys, for my birthday, since it's my 50th, went over there and purchased something with my code. I don't care if it's $2, okay? Then it'll only be $1. And free shipping and handling, so it'll be $1, okay? It would really mean a lot to me if you used my code, so thank you in advance. I appreciate it. All right, so let's get into today's video. Every day I'm trying new hats because I have purchased, I think in the last month or two, I have purchased probably 6 or 7 new hats for the summer and for the fall. And this one is actually, did you guys watch? I'm almost kind of embarrassed to say this. Do you watch X on the Beach? Okay, this is inspired by Ray from X on the Beach because he wore this hat on like literally every episode. And I love this. I just like old school like trucker hats like this. And so I was like, oh, my hair looks bad. But anyway, so I was like, I just want like an old school trucker hat. And I'm trying to kind of break it in so that it looks better on me. But anyway, and I also wanted a black hat because the only other black hat that I have is this hat that just says shark on it. So anyway, all right, let's get into it. I have all the questions right here. I've kind of skimmed through some of them, but not all of them. So, well, obviously, because there was like hundreds upon hundreds of questions. I'm going to kind of like skim from, I'm going to look over them and I'm going to skim around and I'm going to kind of like pick ones that I don't feel like I've answered before. Okay. So the first one, very deep, it says, if gay marriage is overturned, what would you and Alex do? You know, since this is something that has just come up in the last week, I addressed the reversal of Roe versus Wade and my feelings towards that in a previous video that I did, because I think it's important to have discussions about this. I don't know what we would do because, you know, that was hinted at, obviously, and we've had discussions about it. You know, long before this, Alex and I think this is important of any, same-sex couples, Alex and I have put things into place to protect us as a couple, period, right? And, on the heels of my mom passing away, and at that time, we weren't able to find paperwork. She didn't have an advance directive. I am somebody that is really, really pro-will and pro-advance directive. And if you don't know what that means, an advance directive means, like, if you're on life support or if you're in a hospital, what do you want for yourself? And as an only child, that was an incredibly difficult situation to be in, and I will tell you that something I encourage all parents to do, no matter what age you are, you never know, okay, what could happen, is that I encourage you to have wills in place, specifically if you have children, okay, and also have an advance directive so that your family and your friends know what your wishes are. I think it's really, really important, and so Alex and I have had conversations this week about what further things do we need to do. We have a family attorney that we consult with that has directed us, and things, and we're going to continue to listen to their advice and do the best that we can. I don't know what we would do in that situation. It's scary times. It's really scary times. It makes me very, very sad that these things that we fought so very hard for, diligently, activists literally on the lines every single day out there fighting for these rights. And now it's like, I honestly feel like we're going back in time like 50 years. It's really, really a scary time for me. So, well, not for me, it's a scary time for us, I think, and I don't understand it, and I'm confused, I'm angry, and I'm sad. So, all right, let's get into more questions. Are you going to display all of your Starbucks tumblers for us? So, for Pride Month, I brought my Pride tumbler from Starbucks that I got, I think, last year. I literally just made a coffee. That's pretty good. I actually put my brown sugar creamer in here, which I didn't like when I reviewed on my review channel, but it's pretty good. Maybe I just didn't have enough of it in the coffee when I reviewed it before. But this is my Pride tumbler. I have actually done a video on my Peter Does Stuff channel showing all of my tumblers. I took them out, I showed all of them, and I don't know how many tumblers I have. Probably 50, 70, something like that, tumblers at this point. I've needed to slow down a little bit. I did just buy 2, like 3 weeks ago. But I needed to slow down a little bit because I've tried to use a tumbler each and every day for like water and stuff like that, a different one, just to kind of use them. But, so you can go see that video over my Peter Does Stuff channel. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to figure out or find questions that I haven't answered before. Favorite thing about turning 50. So I did a video yesterday on my Peter Does Stuff channel talking about on turning 50, and I think the most important lessons that I've learned in my 50 years, and I talked about it at length on my vlog too, called Slowing Down. But my favorite thing about turning 50, both of my parents loved their 50s. My mom got sober at 51, which is why I tell people don't ever give up hope on your parents getting sober later in their age. My mom got sober at 51, and she loved her 50s, and she really stopped caring what people thought about things. I talked about this in my vlog at length, and I'm not going to get into it over here, the whole story. Well, maybe I need to get into the story a little bit, but my mom was very short. She was 5 foot, and she was extremely big-breasted. And she was very insecure about it, like the majority of her life. Like, it was always her dream to have a breast reduction. And she never did. And my dad was a plastic surgeon, and she's like, I can't believe that your dad could have referred me to one of his friends, and I never got a breast reduction. And it was very painful for her. She, at I think about 12 or 13, she developed very young. She had, there were boys that were looking in her window as she was changing. And so her stepfather caught them and called the police. And when the police came, they asked my mom, do you wear tight sweaters to school to, lure these boys in? My mom had that whole mindset her entire life that men were always looking at her. I mean, she would say to me, she'd say, when I talk to men, they go right to my breasts. And so she covered up a lot, and she wore sweaters, and she would always wear crew neck t-shirts, never v-neck t-shirts. And in her 50s, that was something that she stopped carrying. And I love that, She would say, she would wear v-neck, t-shirts, and she'd say, if people want to look at my cleavage, they can look at my cleavage. I don't really care, I'm kind of done. She's like, I've cared so much about that my entire life. And that's one thing I really do look forward to. My dad, you know, was at a point that in his 50s, he and my stepmom traveled a ton, and he just was so happy and carefree. And I'm very much like that when it comes to my attitude about getting older. And so I think I have that from my dad. I think I got that not caring. My dad never cared. I mean, he doesn't. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to stress. I don't know that my dad's really been stressed out really a whole lot. You know, I mean, he's a very calm person. But like, I definitely got that I don't care attitude from my mom going into my 50s, and I think this carefree attitude from my dad going into my 50s. So I'm excited about my 50s. I really am, you know. If you want to hear more about it, go look at my vlog or my on turning 50 video. Okay, let me see. Did you watch America's Next Top Model? I did, actually, for years. And one of the things, this is so funny when I look back on this, because now we have streaming services on like everything. But one of the things that my ex and I used to do was like on a weekend, we would go to Best Buy and we would buy like a whole season of something like America's Next Top Model or Project Runway, or what's the one that Tyler Oakley was on? I can't think of that one. The Challenge, you know, where you go out in the wilderness. Don't ever put me on that show. I'm not bungee jumping over some mountain. I'm just not doing it. You know what I'm talking about? Why can't I think of what that's called? My friend Tanya Jean loves that. But anyway, we would buy one of those like whole set, and then the whole weekend we would just binge watch it. And so yeah, I did watch America's Next Top Model back in the day. It kind of fizzled out over time. It just kind of got, I don't know, it got very repetitive to me. Okay, let's see. Somebody asked me what's one thing I wish I could change about YouTube. I don't really know. I'm trying to think about this. What's one thing that I wish about YouTube? I don't really know that I would change anything about YouTube, you know? I mean, other than like the uploading times that it takes me to upload a video sometimes or whatever, you know, I don't know that I would. There's not really a lot about it. My attitude about YouTube is so different than a lot of people, and I really will say this, and this isn't personal about any one person on YouTube or whatnot, but I do think the larger your platform gets, the more entitled you get on YouTube. Kind of like YouTube needs you to some degree. And I think the thing is that I feel very fortunate for YouTube. You know, this is my career, and I love it, and I feel very fortunate that I have 6 channels and that there are people that want to watch it. I mean, YouTube is a free platform that anybody can upload videos on and start a channel, and you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Whatever. You know, people ask me all the time, like, well, do you think I should start? I'm like, start a channel. If you want to start a channel, start a channel. Don't wait. I always tell people, don't wait. You know, sit in front of your window. The window is great light, you know, and start videos. I know people that to this day have very successful channels and film on their phones sitting in front of a window. They have no ring light. They have no professional camera. They upload on their phone. They do all their editing on their phone, and trust, their editing is 100 times better than me. So I'm not of the attitude that there's like a lot that I would change about YouTube. I wish that YouTube would listen to smaller creators, and I wish that they would make it easier for smaller creators to hit the wave of the algorithm, because it seems like once you get to the top, those are the people they push, and then there's not a lot of like luck today for smaller creators. But I'm not unhappy with YouTube, you know? I love YouTube. I feel so blessed that every day I get to get up and this is my life. I don't know. So I'm not going to complain about, you know, something that is free for me that I can make money from and have a following and get in videos and talk about whatever I want to talk about, you know? I mean, I was thinking about what I want to review today for my review channel, and it's like, it's been sitting in the garage for like 2 days, and I'm like, this is such a silly video, but I'm doing it. Like, I can do that, you know, I can upload it and some people will watch it, and that's a cool thing, you know? I don't know, I feel like on the smaller stuff, I mean, we have so many serious things to have opinions about and talk about and whatever, but like, I think on a small level, we've become a society that we want to complain about everything. And it's like, you know, pull it in a little bit. Let's find some gratitude. Let's find some grace. You know, there's happiness in all things. Well, not all things, but there's happiness in a lot of things out there. I'm very happy with YouTube. I love YouTube. I'm grateful for YouTube. If you're out there and you're on part of the people on YouTube, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to make my dreams come true. You know, I'm 50 years old and I have 6 channels on YouTube. What? I think the next oldest person next to me is that Zipster guy, you know? And if he's, I don't know if he's even still alive. So, you know, like, but he was one of the originals back in the day. And And I used to watch his channel. And so, you know, like, anybody of any age can be over here, you know? It's like my friend, Valerie, she loves this makeup person that's like Lisa123 or something. Do you know what I'm talking about? She loves her. And I went to her channel one day and she's got tons of subscribers and she's like my age. You know, so it's like there is a place for anybody on YouTube, I think. I really do believe that. Okay, let's see. I just got married. Somebody said top 3 marriage tips. Okay. Date night once a week, at least. Physical intimacy is important. And marriage counseling, period. End of story. You have to, and don't stop. I just think, like, you know, we got back into marriage counseling like a month ago. We just had our marriage counseling session last night. And it's like we left. And it's like I was looking at my husband as he was getting in the car. And I was like, I love this man. Like, I love this man with every bit of my heart, you know? And he was like, well, where do you want to go to dinner? Because we kind of made it an arrangement before when we were going to marriage counseling that, like, after our sessions, we would go to dinner and just kind of leave whatever happened in the office. And our session last night was just phenomenal, you know, like groundbreaking, phenomenal. And it brought us together so much more. And, you know, it's just like, I'm such a believer in marriage counseling. I'm such a hardcore believer in marriage counseling. So, and then I turned around today and I have my counseling session for myself today on Zoom. So, you know, it's like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm growing, we're growing. So those would be my top 3 marriage tips. Okay. Hold on a second. What's your biggest fear in life? Sharks. I mean, a lot of these are like travel ones and stuff. Like 5 places I'd like to travel in my life. Okay, I've never been to Washington, D.C. I'd like to see Washington, D.C. I know, isn't that kind of strange? I always think of that movie Born Yesterday, the original, not the remake, and like her walking around to all the places. So Washington, D.C., which, I mean, right now, you know, I don't know how much that means, but Washington, D.C., Bali, Thailand, Fiji, and the Maldives. I love beaches. I could live on a beach for the rest of my life. What's your favorite discontinued Starbucks drink? God, I don't even know, because I always just get a, well, lately I've been getting if somebody takes me there, the brown sugar shaken espresso. What's my favorite drink that they've discontinued there? Well, listen, okay, don't come for me. But I'm a pumpkin spice latte girl all day long, okay? I love when they bring the pumpkin spice latte back. They'll bring it back, like, I think July 15th at this point, but I love it. So yeah, recent ghost stories, of any. I haven't had any ghost stories recently. I always usually have good ones, though. What is your favorite clothing brand? They said Ralph Lauren, because I always wear the Ralph Lauren t-shirts. No, I do like them. And my favorite hat are Gorin Brothers hats, Goorin. Every t-shirt that I have that's black, I get from Target, and it's Goodfellow brand. I really like that. My favorite jeans are Buffalo jeans, because they have a stretchy waist on them. My favorite shoes are Birkenstocks. And I'm not really into spending a lot of money on clothes. I'm just not. And I will say that, you know, in the last couple years, I have bought some things that mean a lot to me. I bought a couple bags because I always wear a messenger bag. Always like have for, well, I would carry it with me and keep it in my car, but I wouldn't carry it in places often. Now I always carry it in places. So I purchased a couple bags in the last couple years. And yeah, so I don't know, like, clothes just don't mean a lot to me. Back in the day, and this is the other thing, and so like on this weight loss journey that I'm on, you know, it's like, I love thrift store clothes. I always have. I love Western shirts with pearl buttons, you know, and like Wrangler shirts and things like that. My favorite store in the entire world is Broad Ripple Vintage in Indianapolis. I love just going, any city I go to, I like to go to their thrift store, vintage store, and just like look around at their vintage t-shirts and their vintage like shoes and trucker hats. And, you know, they're like, I love Western shirts. I love them. And so I have so many that I've saved. I have an entire side of my closet that's all just dedicated to stuff that doesn't fit me, but that if I lost another 20 pounds would. So those are the kind of things I truly, truly love. I believe that your outside should match your soul inside. And that those things that you feel on the inside, how you see yourself, if you see yourself as colorful and dancing around and whatever, that should be how you express yourself on your outside. Okay, let's see. What's my opinion on how Jen Shah has been treated compared to Erica Jane? Well, I think it's interesting. I really do. Jen Shah from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. You know, well, first of all, just my opinion, okay? I'm not a big Erica fan. I think I was back in the day a little bit more, but she is so lacking of compassion of the victims. And it's a completely different situation, you know? But she's so lacking of compassion towards the victims. That conversation really hasn't been had with Jen Shah on their season. I think it will be interesting to see what happens on the next season of Salt Lake City. And is Jen Shah even on it? I don't know. I will tell you what I think is interesting is that Meredith Marks and Jen Shah have become very close on social media because I've seen them in a lot of pictures and Instagram stories because I follow Meredith Marks. I think she's the only, no, Heather Gay I follow too from Salt Lake City. But there's been like a lot of pictures and Instagram stories of Meredith Marks and Jen Shah hanging out together, which kind of surprises me. So, yeah, I am surprised at how they've treated her differently. But I also think I think Bravo really highly edits the storyline of where stuff goes. And I think they didn't want to go in that direction with Jen Shah because I think they saw that with Erica, like it completely ruled the whole entire season. And I think by the end of it, people were tired of it. And they were tired of Erica's victimization of herself. And I think they just didn't want to do that with Jen Shah. And so I think they played out a completely different storyline. Do I think they could have? Yeah, I do think they could because there's a lot of discussion about it on the show. Will you ever do live stream chats again? I will. You know, it's funny because I was thinking the other day, I was like, I haven't done a live stream in forever, but I always just do them randomly whenever I do them. I just have to kind of feel like, you know, I'm feeling this today. Who will fizzle away first? Gabby Hanna, James Charles, Trisha Paytas, or Shane? I don't think Shane will ever fizzle away. I really don't. I think he has a fan base that he won't fizzle away. Trisha Paytas, I think it's going to really depend on what she does with her family vlogging channel. Like, is that even confirmed yet? Like, if she does that, if she comes out with a family vlogging channel, I do believe no matter how hard she tries, I think it will be the end of her career. James Charles, I think people will age out from him. I think, you know, I really do think that we're going to... People ask all the time, they're like, do you think the beauty YouTube is... No, I don't think beauty YouTube is dead. I think there's a lot of people that people still watch out there, smaller creators, whatever. I think there's going to be a shift in what happens with beauty YouTube. I think it's going to be a whole different attitude of how things happen. You know, if you look at like 5 years ago, it was reviews, it was hauls, it was get readies with me's, it was try this look that I found or whatever. I think there will be some whole new attitude towards it, you know? And there are people like the Welsh Brothers or whatever that people really, really like on YouTube, you know? I think there's going to be a shift. I mean, things are constantly evolving and changing over time, right? Like always. Like at one point, true crime wasn't very popular on YouTube, and then it got really big, and then people are criticizing it now. And so, you know, it's like things are constantly evolving and changing. I think that's going to happen with the beauty influencer community too. And I think James is on his way out. And I think he's aware of that. I think that's why he's trying to change up his content to be like, move away from the makeup content more to like mainstream content. But I don't think it's going to help him. I really don't. I think like Trisha, he has so many things that he has done in his past that are going to continue to haunt him. And as his core audience gets older and older, I don't think people are going to want to watch him as much anymore, you know? And like Tyler Oakley is an example I always use of this, right? Like Tyler Oakley, really, he wasn't even problematic. He just got, you know, he started getting kind of like political on his channel. And then he started doing these videos where it was like, let me get high and try on wigs, right? And I think like people that like had watched him for a long period of time were just kind of like, I'm not down. Like this doesn't coincide with the relatability of my life today, right? And I think Tyler knew that. Tyler is brilliant. Tyler's written books, he's done podcasts, he knows what he's done. So he's transferred that to Twitch, and he's doing very well on Twitch, right? Do I think that James Charles is somebody that can do that? No, I don't. I think if you think about the aging out of his audience, okay, and if his audience was, let's say, 12 to 20, If you look at the next 4 years, okay, those 12 to 20-year-olds, they're TikToking it away anyway. They're not on YouTube. So they're going to be done, okay? They're going to be over the whole YouTube thing. And then the people that are in college, they're getting jobs. They're trying to find jobs. They're trying to afford a tank of gas to drive across town. They're not worried about what James Charles is doing and what TikTok trends made him buy. And all. They don't care, okay? So do I think that his views are going to drop like in half in the next, let's say, 2 to 3 years? Absolutely. And then I think he's going to start scrambling and not know what to do because they have to have a constant source of income as well, you know? So I think it'll be very interesting. Gabby Hanna, her career is interesting to me. I mean, she doesn't really get that many response. Okay, first of all, I was going to do a whole video about Gabby Hanna, and I'm going to wait and do that because I feel like she's very delusional. But at the same time, like, I struggle because it's like, I wouldn't want to tell somebody not to follow their dreams, right? And her dream is to be this rock star that's touring across the country. But just for an example, and I'm going to talk about this at length in another video, but like, there was video footage of like the concert that she just did. And there were like literally like 30 people there, okay? And they were all just standing there. And it was sad. I mean, it was sad. Like there was a moment in my heart where I like, no matter what kind of person she is or what she's done, I was like, that makes me sad that this is her dream and there's 30 people sitting there. Like, you know what I mean? And then she said something about, should she tour? And I'm like, girl, it's the 4th week of, should she tour this summer? And I'm like, girl, it's the 4th week of the summer. Like, where are you going to tour? How are you going to book these venues? How are you going to get them prepared so COVID checks are in place? Like, she doesn't think about any of that kind of stuff. She's just like, should I tour? You know? And then I read the comments underneath it, and it was all from people that were under the age of 18. They're like, girl, I got summer school. You know, I wish I could, but I can't afford it because, you know, I have to, like, whatever. I'm babysitting money. I mean, it was really young people. Which honestly kind of surprised me that Gabby still pulls a young audience. Like, I was really kind of surprised about that. I thought her audience was, I don't know, her mainstream audience was a little bit older than that. But I think Gabby's career is done, and I think she knows it. And I think she is now just kind of resigned to the fact that YouTube is, she's posting videos on YouTube. Let's see. I don't know what her last YouTube video did. Let's see. I only look at this stuff when I have to, like, for a video. Okay, hold on a second. Oh, it pulled up Daniel Prada and Joey Graceffa's videos. Okay, where is she at? The Gabby show. Why is it not pulling it up? She probably deleted her channel again. Here it is. Oh, no, that's Gabby Hanna Music. The Gabby show. Okay, that took a long time to find. Okay, so a day ago, Untitled Project 7, 12,000 views. She got less views on her video than I got on mine, and she has 5.3 million subscribers. Okay, the video before that was Third and Final Rehearsal, 14,000 views 5 days ago. Trouble, which I think was a song. My Third Eye is Activated, Yours Can Be Too, 37,000 views. I mean, she's pulling views that drama channels get talking about her. We're not getting a million views like she thinks. I think her career is over. I think, and she did it to herself. She completely screwed herself. This is where it's interesting that people don't really want to listen to drama channels. But drama channels, really, commentary channels, like, you know, people are always like, oh, it's just your, yes, of course it's just our opinion. And we're just people that are out here watching YouTube videos like anybody else, that if people were kind enough and weren't super fans of yours would tell you what's up, okay? And what's up is you screwed your career. You screwed your career and you didn't care. And you could have saved it. You could have come back and taken accountability for it. And that's the common theme of Shane Dawson, James Charles, Trisha Paytas, and Gabby Hanna, okay? Is that none of them came back really, except for Shane Dawson, and took accountability. You know, Trisha Paytas still hasn't for countless things that she's done. And Gabby Hanna just acts like what, who, it never happened. So, no, I think eventually they're all gonna, well, I don't know. Shane's podcast seems to be doing well for a podcast, so. Okay, let's get into a few more questions. I'm just gonna pick, I went to all the questions and I picked randomly right out of the middle. Okay. Story time about my prison grandma. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think Caroline and I should do a whole video about her together. Do you guys put in the comment section below if you want my cousin Caroline and I to do a whole video about my grandma that went to prison? It's a sad story because, I joke about it and I think that's my way of healing because I really am interested. Somebody else asked me on here, like, what was one question you would ask your mom? I would ask her what happened with my grandma and what was her growing up really like, my mom's growing up, because we know that our mothers were in foster care. We know that our grandfather died when my mom was 4 and my aunt was 6. But other than that, like, we don't know a lot. We know my grandma worked her butt off to support them, and that gave them everything. My mom would say, you know, we both drove cars at Indiana University, and grandma took the bus to work. And it just was sad, you know. And my mom and my aunt... The camera stopped. I usually catch that. My mom and my aunt felt very guilty about that, you know, and but we didn't know why they felt guilty about that. And then, you know, like, I can remember my dad telling me, you know, that my grandma embezzled this money, and it was after my mom passed away. And he said, you know, he goes, they didn't want you to know because they didn't want you to judge your grandma, because I think she was just doing her best to support her girls, which doesn't condone what she did, obviously. But, you know, I would like to know more about that. I would like to know more about that story, and not just the story or the details, but really, like, it's interesting because my mom kept journals, like, almost her entire life, and there's almost nothing about it. There's nothing about it in there. I can't find anything, you know? So I just would like to know what that's about, and I don't know. So maybe my cousin Caroline will do a video. We have very fond memories of our grandma. Very fond memories. I loved my grandma, you know. And she died when I was 13 and Caroline was 16. And she was a great grandma, you know. What positive memories since it's my birthday? She always got me tracksuits, you know, like, because she worked for a store that was like a fitness store. And so she would always get Caroline and I matching tracksuits. I remember one year for my birthday, she got me a white and a blue one, like one white and one blue. And they were like Adidas tracksuits. And I remember my grandma always got me those, you know, for my birthday and stuff. So it's hard looking back on those positive memories and feeling like how much of it was real. And I think as you get older, you kind of question some of that. Like, how much of my life was even real, you know? It's weird. I never cry about my grandma. I don't know why I was crying just now. My husband is sober 10 months. What's the best way I can continue to support him? Go to marriage counseling with your husband and get involved in Al-Anon, which is a 12-step program for friends and family members of alcoholics and addicts. It will not solve your problems or tell you how to deal with your husband. It will be you working 12 steps on yourself. And I recommend it to any family members and friends of alcoholics or addicts. Did you miss not having a sibling growing up? Oh yeah, I mean, there were times. My mom would always say to me she wished that she had given me a brother or sister. She felt very bad about it. And I'd be like, Mom, don't worry about it. I will say this, having friends of mine who have had parents that have passed away, and like, there's a lot of like fighting in the family and whatnot. Like, I mean, my family is small, right? So when my mom passed away, my aunt and my cousin were right there for me. When my aunt passed away, I was there for my cousin. When my uncle passed away, which was the anniversary of that. Why am I crying like this? The anniversary of that was yesterday. You know, I was right there for Caroline. So it wasn't this, let's fight over mom's jewelry kind of thing. There was none of that. There was none of that. And so I always was afraid that going through like my parents passing would be so difficult as an only child. It wasn't. I had amazing support from friends and family and people in recovery. There was no fighting. There was no difficulty in making decisions, you know, and things like that. Like, well, I mean, as far as like, we didn't have paperwork and things in place to know what her desires and wishes were. But other than that, it was like all left up to me, right? My aunt was just like, you do what you want to do. Like, I'll help you with the process. But, but when I was growing up, I was very lonely. I was like, I had no friends in school, and so I had friends in the neighborhood. Summers were fun for me. I talked a lot about this on my vlog. I'd have my little terry cloth shorts on and my little terry cloth tank top, and I had a little pocket on the side where I keep my little lip balm, the one that slid from side to side. And my two girlfriends, Katie and Jessie, and I, we would walk up and down the street, and we would talk all day. We'd say, oh, Mrs. Smith, your flowers look so pretty. And we'd sit in the yard, and she'd ask us if we wanted chocolate chip cookies, and she'd bring them out. And we'd walk up and down the street. We thought, I mean, we were the girls, okay? And we were snapping our gum, and we were gossiping with all the moms in the neighborhood. And then we would sit on the electrical box at the end of the cul-de-sac, because all three of us lived we were the three houses on the cul-de-sac. And we would sit there and swing our legs, and we would chew a Bubblicious or Hubba Bubba chewing gum, and we would pop it. And then sometimes, because Poltergeist came out the summer of, I just looked it up not too long ago, but I was like 12, no, I was like 8 when it came out or something, and we would take our gum out and we would pop it, we'd go like that and pop it, and we'd go, come to the light, Carol Ann, come to the light, Carol Ann. you know, summers were really good for me. I've talked a lot about bullying on my channels, but I was never bullied by people on my street. And I don't know if it was because their parents were like, leave Peter alone or whatever, but they included me. I mean, we all played baseball, kickball, sports. I mean, it was fun. Summers in my neighborhood were fun. But the rest of the time, it was very lonely. I didn't have friends. And so, you know, outside of that, and so I did wish that I had siblings because that would feel like a forced friend, I think is what I imagined, but I don't know. Okay, let me see. If you didn't live in Indianapolis, where would you live? I don't know. We go back and probably Florida. My husband's wanted to live in Florida for so long, and I want to be by the beach. Do you feel, I'm like reading some of these questions, I'm like, do I want to go there? Do you feel Gabby Hanna has an unhealthy relationship with weed? I mean, she said she did. She said she was trying to stop and that she was struggling getting off of it. I think that's all the information that people need to know. I don't know. I don't know how much I don't know how much she smokes. I don't know how much it bothers her. I think this is like one thing that people don't understand about addiction is, like when you're in recovery, whether you're an alcoholic or addict working a 12-step program, it is not my place to tell somebody that they're an alcoholic or an addict. You know, I'll ask them questions if they want to know. I'll tell them my story. I'll share my experience, strength, and hope. But it's not my place to tell somebody that they're an alcoholic or an addict. That's there to decide, you know? We're programs of attraction, not promotion. If somebody wants to hear my story and wants my help, I'm there for them, you know? My hand of responsibility will always be there for them. But, you know, that's not mine to tell Gabby Hanna that she has an unhealthy relationship with weed. I don't know. You know, when people come out in videos and they say things like Jaclyn Hill talks about it or Gabby Hanna talks about it, then yes, I will comment on that. But only then will I. And, you know, and I think one of the things I absolutely love, because I think that it shows so much hope to somebody. I just got a comment on my vlog the other day. I couldn't believe it. I get these about maybe 3 or 4 times a year. Somebody will say, I just went into treatment. This person said they went into treatment 5 days ago. And they said, you know, a lot of it is because of you talking about recovery in your videos, and thank you so much. That has always been my purpose of sharing my story since the inception of me getting on YouTube. As I said, I'm going to talk about being gay, and I'm going to talk about being openly, you know, like gay and marriage problems and whatever goes on in my life. And I'm going to talk about recovery, and I'm going to talk about addiction realistically, because I want people to know that it's a struggle, and that there are people that are dying out there every 8 minutes from an opioid, you know, overdose. And that doesn't even count alcohol abuse and overdoses and pills and cocaine and methamphetamines and all, you know, all kinds of things that people are dying of or ruining their lives or on and on and on, you know? It's so sad. And so if I can share my story and then somebody else can share their story and somebody else can share their story and somebody else can share their story, then we're all of us turning our wounds into wisdom. And one of the coolest things has always been on my channels when people share in the comment sections how long they've been sober, or they'll say sober family here or sober fam. And I love that. It means so much to me. It's just one of the coolest things ever. And this person is not sober, I don't think. But I do want to say this because I just remembered it. I don't know why. Speaking of that comment, I was at the mall the other day and I was coming out of Louis Vuitton. And this girl stopped me and she goes, Peter Monn? And I go, yeah, this never happens to me. And she goes, oh my God, I watch all your channels. So she gave me a hug, and I want to give Adriana a shout out and thank you for coming up to me. It really meant a lot to me. Okay, let me get just like one or two more. I haven't started the Queer as Folk reboot yet. Favorite candle scent? Probably this right here, this Capri Volcano candle. I don't know what that is. It like, I thought the battery is flashing. I don't know what it's called, but you can get it at Anthropologie. I absolutely love it. Let's see. Opinion on YouTube mom's family channels. Okay, so I used to watch a couple family channels back in the day. Not family channels as much as like mom channels, where they would like pack the kids' lunches and stuff like that. And I was kind of fascinated with all of this, you know, or whatever. But the kids weren't really in the videos, as many as I thought. And then there was this one that I watched for a while. She got in so much controversy and drama, and her name was Brittany and Baby, and I think she's still getting into controversy and drama. But I literally would watch her pack her kids' lunch, and it was like, you know, that pirate booty stuff and carrots and whatever. And I don't know, they just were real calming to me. I mean, I only watched a couple of them because I think I think she was watching one of my videos in the background of one of her videos, and so somebody shouted me out or said, you need to go watch Brittany, so that's how I watched it. But then she got herself into all this drama. I don't know if she still is or not. I haven't watched her in forever. I don't watch mommy and family vlogger channels anymore. They always seem to be very entitled or very religious, or I don't know, and I don't know. I mean, you can't really have a family channel without having your kids in it, and I think that's already problematic. And, you know, the whole discussion of, I don't know, I will say this as far as YouTube. People were asking about YouTube. I think YouTube's going to tighten the ranks on family channels and kids being in these videos. And is that considered work? And how many hours are they being used for these videos? Okay, I think that's going to be a real issue. And I think we like with Jordan Cheyenne, we remember with the thumbnail situation with her son when she's like, no, act like you're crying. Ooh, like, remember that? And he's like, but I am upset. And she's like, well, show it. That, I think, is the insidious behavior of family channels that we do not see unless the camera is rolling and they put out what we want them to see. I think there's a lot of that goes on in the backgrounds, okay? I think it's a lot of, like, you know, momager kind of stuff. And that's sad. That is absolutely sad. And I think it's going to be more and more exposed, and I think we're going to see more of it. So, and I think YouTube's going to tighten up that stuff too. Okay, let me answer one more. I bought things on, well, I'll answer quick ones. I bought things on eBay. My favorite ice cream is Chubby Hubby. Let's see. Oh God, what are your goals for the 50th year? Okay, well, we'll end with this one. This is a good question. This was, let me see if I can see. This was by Nikki, so thank you. I think this is Nikki. Oh, hey, Nikki. So thank you for this. Nikki's part of the book club. My goals for the 50th year are to continue to lose weight and get healthy. I want to build my upper body strength. I'm really struggling with that right now. I actually bought some weights off of Amazon, so a little like rack of weights. So I'm going to start doing that. I'd like to get into doing some yoga around the house. And start walking more, and it's still a little difficult for me to do that for long periods of time, but I would like to get into that more. Cleaning the basement. If you don't watch my vlog, I made a commitment in marriage counseling that I'm going to start cleaning the basement July 1st. So once the basement is done, then we're going to start construction on, well, getting estimates and things like that on getting our basement done first, and then we're going to start the remodel of our whole condo. That's our next goal. So that will be something that hopefully, I don't know. I'm not going to put a time limit on it because then people will hold me to it and be like, he said he's going to do this for 2 years. If you say anything in a video, you know, people come back and they're like, oh, he said he was going to do it for 2 years. I'm like, I know I said 4 years ago I was going to lose weight. Get over it. You know what I mean? But it's like, hey, listen, I'm human too. To get back to reading, I have not been reading. I haven't completed a book since, I don't even know the last time that. I've been reading a little bit here and there, but it's really hard for me to focus. So I want to get back into reading and, you know, continue to watch my TV shows and continue to post on YouTube. I was thinking about this last night before I was going to bed. I was sitting outside. I always do my prayers and meditations. I was sitting outside and I was like, today is a blessed day. And, you know, I got to make videos and got to watch some TV shows, see some friends. You know, it was a good day. And I was like, if every day could be like today, I think I would be extremely happy with the rest of my life. So I don't have tons of goals and tons of wishes, just to continue to live this very blessed life that I have. And I'm very thankful for it, and I'm thankful for each and every one of you. And I'm thankful for my Adam and Eve code, so please use it. It's in the description box below. No, totally joking, but no, do use it. But anyway, and then do you. Oh my God! But anyway, I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.